So we're digging in. Let's look. What do we
Yeah.
got
All
here?
right. So Shardbound is set in a sort of a very hopeful post-apocalypse, I guess is the way I'd sort of describe it. So the world that they inhabit was shattered some years ago, kind of exploded, sending pieces of the planet kind of off into the distance.
My favorite world building is some cataclysmic event happened, and we're jumping in to try and fix the pieces. This is perfect.
Yeah, and so
this
is like hundreds of years later, these shards are coming back down, right? Like gravity is finally kind of reclaiming them, and so you're finding these shard falls, and in the intervening time, you've got these different factions. So you've got sort of like the red deck is like sort of the technology faction, and the blue is sort of like time mastery. They can teleportation and kind of cool stuff like that, like magic sort of users. You get sort of your naturalist green faction, and your kind of death and decay flood kind of purple faction, and so basically all these different, they've kind of developed their own culture in the meantime, and now as these shards are falling back down into range here, they're finding that they're going, and you have to kind of go and claim vaults that are on these things, and this is kind of how you're progressing. So each one of these shards ends up being sort of a quest hub, and it gives players kind of an excuse to come fight over the resources on these pieces as they're coming back down. And this is effectively sort of in kind of Web 2 land, how you go about building your sort of like initial collection of cards.
Got it.
So
this is like PvE level stuff. Like I'm coming here, single player, jumping in and playing some games. Is that right?
It's so it is fundamentally it's a PvP game.
Yeah. Once you get past this kind of building.
Yeah. So you know what, I might so yeah, quick overview. There's like when you
fancy.
Yeah, all right. A little bit of placeholder art here, but when you start the game, once you get through the tutorial, you'll be able to sort of come in and look at your sort of your guild house, your shop, your whatever.
Yeah.
There's like deep sort of deck building with lots of different units across the various different factions.
Wow.
And a lot of stuff to collect. I've got actually looks like a pretty, not a whole lot of content on this.
No, it's all right. It's all right. He's still a beginner at his own game. All right, it's all right.
No.
Sometimes
deeply called out. But I'll pull up my dev account and you'll see.
Yeah. Next, turn on God mode. Whenever you see Rex log in, you turn on God mode and then just go play me. And then I'll never win. It's all right. I understand how it goes.
But yeah, so there's you've kind of got your own house there, or you got your sort of guild thing, and then there are these shards that are going to spawn, and these are sort of the quest hubs, right? So each one of these is going to have a vault on it with different seals that kind of have different win conditions, and like so here this is a pretty simple one. I play one game with any army and it'll break the seal. But I've got to break all the seals in order to be able to claim this, and this is happening in real time. So other people are potentially seeing the vault and also want to kind of unlock this. And there's some things that we want to do with streamers and content creators to sort of like create kind of in-world events around this stuff. So that's kind of the sort of like PvP piece. I'm gonna run through I think the last tutorial here, because this will give you sort of like a bit of a walkthrough of
I would love to, because I want to see, like, I'd love to see the map, like the way that this is rolling out. This is amazing.
Great, thanks. This is we got some great looking maps, and
this looks amazing.
Some different
I was
ones,
just like,
I
don't know. I do a lot of like early alpha builds and stuff like that, and like this one looks beautiful. You guys put a lot of time and effort into getting to an alpha stage. I love the idea too. Like some people's versions of alphas are just so different, and this one this is like a beta, maybe even almost main full launch in comparison to some of the alphas that I've seen. So this is great.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, like we definitely feel like, I mean, there's always stuff to do in terms of pioneering new sort of new design space or whatever. But yeah, I mean, this game already is super fun. We have great confidence that, when we get this sort of into beta and are, kind of doing our first NFT mints and so forth, that it'll be there for players in a way that, I think it'll be reassuring, right? Because I feel like we've seen so much in the Web3 space where it's like, cool, yeah, we're totally going to make a game after you give us the money for all this stuff, right? Like, and that, I don't think that's, the way to do it anymore. Anyway, so okay, so first unit comes out. I had 1 mana, so I played a 1 mana card. It's down on the board here. It's got Summoning Sickness, so can't do anything just yet. But my commander Petra here, she's ranged unit.
Nice.
So we've got Oathkeeper Juro here, who's the commander on the other side of the board.
Okay.
My win condition, I think, here is probably to defeat him. And then he's going to be pulling out cards as well. And
yes, so that's cool. So it's like you're like I'm thinking I'm combining Hearthstone with Final Fantasy Tactics right now, but your like hero is down on the board, playable, can attack. When you play a card, they have like the one turn where you have to sleep before you can play, unless they have some sort of like charge ability.
Unless they have, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And then and you're slowly, like, once you play a card, I was it's not an auto battler. It seems like you can actually control each of the characters once they're down. Amazing.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, that is really cool. Because that's one of the things. Like, don't get me wrong, auto battlers are. I feel like they have their place. I personally, and this is just me, I'm not an auto battler fan. Like, I want to control the characters because I've played so much Final Fantasy Tactics. It's like, no, I want to use this spell. Move over here. Get out of the way. So that's what I love to do. And so it's exciting to see that. And so this is really, really cool because you're slowly building, as opposed to having a full set chessboard set up ready to go. You're like slowly building your chessboard at the same time. So you're reacting and putting units down and reinforcements. Oh man, this is
exactly
really
right. It's the play and counterplay and I mean, this is a tutorial, so I imagine this will be pretty. It'll be a pretty straight line to kind of knock this Juro guy out. But you can imagine like over playing against a real opponent, like who's been investing into their deck and really thinking about how to get cards out. How the flow of battle just changes back and forth, right? And fundamentally, we want to be building a game that is very spectatable because. Well, first of all, because we like watching games like this, but also just like as the world changes, right? And platforms like Twitch are great for discovery, showing players what they can be getting before having to commit to a box sale, which I guess isn't a thing. All right, so I'm gonna play this Phalanx leader down. Adjacent allies are gonna get a +1 to attack.
Nice.
So stick that person there. Then I'm gonna move an ally adjacent to him. Get my +1.
And, all right, there you go. And then you get your ranged attack too, right?
Trying to make the most of this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'll continue to poke at the. I was not careful with clicking, and I probably should not have moved, but I don't think it's going to be too much trouble.
Yeah. Luckily, they take it easy on you in the tutorial.
And then, I could have given myself a +3 as well. I'll save that for next turn.
Ooh, all right. So while they're going, so this, like, all of this is so far seems, and I think rightfully so, very Web 2. So at what point does this kind of future tech stuff, digital assets, because we're not allowed to say that dirty word NFTs anymore. When does that kind of the Web 3 element come into play either in the battles or just in the ecosystem in general?
Yeah, I mean, so there are a couple of pieces there. The sort of one kind of obvious case that we're like definitely talking about now is it is this sort of like deck building collection piece. Like right now, I'm playing through with kind of a pre-constructed deck, but we're looking for ways to kind of increase the types of decks that players can build and reward them for exploring and trying different things. And so, like, in a Web 2 version of this, you're going to like, hey, I really want a hungry Narbec, and I got to just keep opening loot boxes until I can find that unit, which, like works, but isn't sort of the path to testing out a lot of different things and like getting into the meta. We also do want to do things with, tournaments and in-game tournaments where You can, maybe wager, anti a unit or do some like pretty spicy stuff there. That again, really hard to do in Web 2, particularly like staying within the boundaries of, sort of the platform kind of rules for how they expect you to sort of play. So sorry, hard
nice.
to.
No, it's okay. It's all right. I understand. Usually I'm the one playing. So like this is a nice change of pace for me, because I'm usually like struggling to keep up on the conversation and then still win. Because if people see you lose when you're just playing on Twitch, they always rag on you for
especially
eons.
When it's a gimme tutorial level.
Yeah.
So like, definitely don't screw this up, Daly.
No, so that sounds really, really cool. And so like I'm actually curious. So this is a little just very personal curiosity, because like one of the things that often comes into play, one of the things that people don't like in Web 2, which is the pay to win elements. But if you guys are,
got an idea.
I'm wondering how you're thinking about this, which is if you guys drop these NFT collection oriented cards, and some of the cards become like incredibly sought after because they're in the meta right now, and like people are willing to go on secondary markets, just the way you're saying, like, I need to have this for my deck, I need to complete it, and spend like potential hundreds or thousands of dollars. Like, how do you guys feel about this pay to win element, or how are you thinking the strategy about like this in comparison to in Web 2? Like, there can be an unlimited amount of these legendary cards, essentially, because if people just open enough packs, the random loot chance drop at some point will happen. So how are you guys thinking about that? Are you guys, I don't know, I'll stop there.
I guess I would say, like, in terms of like the pay to win debate, right? Like, those are both kind of pay to win systems, right? You know what you're getting. And I think importantly, right, like, let's say I spend, $20 and construct a deck that I like, right?
Yeah.
And I was trying to play purple, and purple, I've never played purple before, but I wanted to experiment with that gameplay because I hear it's meta, and the streamer that I watch is doing that.
Doing it,
right? Like, well, if that doesn't work for me in Web 2, you've opened a whole bunch of loot boxes, and like you're kind of out of luck. You're not getting that money back. Here, I think of it as like it's the reason that people still love GameStop, even though, right? Like, yes, they sell you stuff, but they also, it's kind of a fair exchange. So, if you don't like that deck, maybe you can get $400 for it because you rolled a really great rare card, but maybe you get $15 for it, or $10 for it. But, that's $10 that you get to try to play a green deck or do something different. So, I think the expectations are going to change a little bit on, what.
Do it, buddy.
Kind of what players can expect to be durable, in games. And, there's so much lost value sort of now in, kind of anything that you play, that I think this is only better. It's only a step in the right direction.
Yeah, and I tend to agree with that kind of stuff. It's always nice hearing what, as opposed to me pontificating on the side and being like, game developers should do it this way, like, let me tell you how to build a game. It's always nice to hear like the ways that you guys are thinking about it, because I do agree. Like, what I cannot do with how the stupid amount of money that I sunk into loot card packs at Hearthstone is get any of that money back in any sort of capacity, unless I suddenly became like a really good Hearthstone player on Twitch, which I don't think that's happening anytime soon when I have 2 children and I have other responsibilities in life. So that's, I love that answer, and I think that's a lot of people that have like are naysaying to the NFTs within games and making that argument. I think that's a very valuable counter argument, which, thank you for sharing that.
Thanks.
That's really, really good. So then what are some of the, like, what's the next, I know we just have, we're about 15 minutes left on the hour. So what's like the next, what's coming up? What's happening in Shardbound? You guys sounds like beta, and then a full game launch by end of the year, which is I'm always interested at holding people to their dates and times, because it's the internet and we're now immortalized. Victory, you did it! All right,
I did it.
Nice.
I did it.
Yeah.
I do not have to hang my head in shame here. Quit and get out of this.
No, you're good.
Yeah. So, so, right now, really, again, excited to start to build the community. So, would love to put in a shill for the Discord community
Yes.
here.
Yeah. I will be sharing out the information for the Discord on Twitter, because that's where it seems like I got a lot of the engagement. So we will drive people to jump into the Discord there. If we jump into the Discord there and you guys share your tags, I will make sure that you slide into my DMs in some capacity, because we're doing some sort of special gift giveaway.
Giveaways, yeah. From what I know,
right.
the community team tells me that we've got a couple of things to give away. So head over to Discord and claim that. Pre-register for the game. Go to shardbound.com. Pre-register to stay sort of even more kind of up to date. I think those who pre-register get some cool stuff as well.
All right.